Hi everybody, so here we are with the continuation. We've Mod Podged the pieces of our scrapbook paper and now we're going to add some color. Okay, so for those of you that haven't seen any of my other videos, this is something that I love to use. These are Caran d'Ache water soluble crayons. They're wax pastels. Anyway, it's very important because they have other ones that they put out and it looks just like this. The tin looks exactly like this. You have to make sure it says water soluble, okay? And these are my absolute favorite. I've been using them for a really long time. I've done many paintings with them and look at how big they still are. Some pieces have broken off, but I still keep them because I can still utilize them. You can take your brush and wet it, and when you run it over the crayon it creates like a watercolor. Okay, so save every little piece, every little bit. Alrighty, so to get started, I have some colors picked out, and the first color I am going to start with is raw umber. Okay, and I'm going to start creating a frame around the edge of my journal. It's a darker color. And you may think like, oh wow, she's covering over all the writing. It may appear that way, but it's like a watercolor, so it's a bit translucent, so it will be adding color, but some of the wonderful layers will still show through. Okay, and what's fun about mixed media is that it's very liberating. You could just kind of go and scribble and color and tear and paste and doodle, and it's so much fun. So happy that you came along on this play date. Now I'm using, this color is olive, so this is the next color I'm filling my page in with. Okay, the next color I have is light olive. I guess I'm in a green mood today. Okay, I'm going to use a little bit of turquoise blue. Just because. Because it's a pretty color and I love it. And I might throw in a little bit of brown in some spots. Okay, now we're going to get a large brush, and with a little bit of water we're going to blend all of these colors together. Let's see. Sorry, I didn't have the big brush with me. I had to go get it. Alright, so with a little bit of water and a brush, you just take that and you start blending your colors in. And at first you might think like, oh no, what have I done? What are all these crazy colors that are here? And then in the end it just always comes together. You know, it always comes together. So you just have to trust yourself. And always remember, with mixed media, or with any art for that matter, there's really never any mistakes. You can always go over it. You can always add another layer. And all is good. So I'm just trying to protect my other pages that are underneath, so I added some paper underneath there. If you have some plastic, that's the ideal thing to put. It doesn't stick. Okay. Now normally, I mean, I have a lot of journals. I usually like the journals that don't have the binds and these rings in the middle. I kind of like it to kind of look like it's a continuation, like it's all one page. But this is my Brene Brown art journal. And I really wasn't sure what we were going to be really doing as far as art journaling goes with that class, so I didn't get anything expensive. And now I'll know for her second course that I can go ahead and grab one of my other journals that I like to use. But I guess it's just a matter of once you start art journaling, you'll find what works for you. And this may not bother you. I'm just working with it. It doesn't really bother me, but I would prefer it to not have the rings. Okay, and now my blue. Okay. Let's see. Lots of colors on here. Okay. Let's do this side now. I don't know if you can see. I'm sure you can. I mean, I'm looking at the computer. You could still see some of the writing in here, some of the floral design throughout the page. Okay. So even though you're adding color, you can still see some of the designs. Okay, let's see. Very good. Very good. Now, we're going to try something different, something that I haven't videoed before. And we're going to work with something that's called modeling paste. I don't know if any of you guys have ever used it before. It's a gel medium. This one is by Liquitex. I know Golden also makes it. I don't know what other brands make it. I'm sure many others, but my only experience has been with the Golden or with the Liquitex. Okay? And basically, it looks like a toothpaste. It has a consistency of a toothpaste. And you can color it. I have colored it with my acrylic, where you kind of put it down. I could put it down on a palette and take a little bit of color and then just kind of mix it around, and you can add color to it. And basically it dries almost like a clay. It's hard, and what it does is it gives dimension. So we're going to be using this today. Then we are also going to be using something that's called a brayer. And I've used these before in my video, and this is a brayer. And basically what it does is you can put different colors. I tend to use my gesso, white gesso, and I put little blobs throughout my page. I go over it with my brayer, and basically it gives it a distressed look. So we'll be working with that as well. Yikes. I just gotta grab my gesso. I was doing arts and crafts today because we had a snow day, so all my things are kind of not where they usually are because I took all these things with me when I went to work. and I was teaching some mixed media, and we were making some Christmas ornaments. So this is the gesso. So basically just put little blobs throughout. Okay. Probably thinking like, oh no, she just put all that nice color down on her page and now she's adding this white gesso all over it. But you'll see there's so many layers that go into mixed media that you take away, you put back, you add something different, you add more. Now you take your brayer and you go over those blobs. I really just like the way, the effect of the brayer. I really do. Okay. Just so you know, when you start to work with a brayer, when you're working with mixed media, sometimes what I've noticed is if you have scrapbook paper down, if you go over an area too much, it starts to pull up the paper because it's grabbing the paint and it's pulling it away and placing it down. But that motion of pulling away sometimes will also pull away at the paper. Okay, so just be careful when you're doing that. Okay, so this has a nice distressed look to it. I'm quite happy with how that turned out. Okay, and again you still see some of the writing, the flower, the texture of the paper. Okay, those are all good things. So now what we're going to work with is the modeling paste. And for that I'm going to use a palette knife, and I'm going to take a generous amount, and I'm going to pick a random spot. Oh, I don't know, maybe somewhere over here. And I'm going to just, almost as if I'm spackling. I don't know if that any of you have ever spackled before. I have. But I'm going to just apply a thin layer. I'm kind of almost skimming over it. I don't want to scrape it off. This is scraping it off. So I'm putting it on and I'm just kind of just skimming over the top of it. Okay? Taking it right to the edge. Okay. There's other spots that I'm going to do that technique too, but I just want to show you quick what I'm actually going to do with it. I have bubble paper, the kind that you use for packing. Okay. And so basically I'm going to take a piece of bubble paper and I am going to press it down right onto that modeling paste. And then pull it away. And I'm going to bring it up so that you can see. Let me see if I can show you. Oh, it's so cool. Let me see if I can show you the texture that leaves. Let's get this out of here. I'm going to turn this around and I'm going to show you. Okay, so that's the texture that it leaves. And we're going to let that dry. It dries pretty quick. I usually work with a blow dryer, but I didn't grab it and I'm not going to stop the video to go grab it. So I'm going to go work on another part of the page and kind of let that dry. And I'm going to carry up the same thing that I did here. I'm going to do up here in this corner. Sorry, my camera's going all kinds of funky now, trying to focus. So again, all I'm doing is kind of skimming over the page with my palette knife and the modeling paste, and then just feathering it out. Okay, and then I'm going to grab my bubble paper and do the same thing. I'm going to take it and lay it down on the modeling paste and just kind of press it down gently. And then pull it back. Ooh, awesome. I'm really happy with that. That's like really cool. Alright. I'm just laughing to myself because I get happy when I see happy little things like that happening on my paper. It's just fun. Once that's dry, you can do different things with it. You can sponge it, which is probably what I'm going to do. You could spray it with your spray ink. If you have an oil pastel, like a black, you could take the wrapper off of it. Let's say if this was an oil pastel, this is not, but if this was, I would take like a black, take the wrapper off and kind of just lightly run it over the modeling paste once it's dry, and that's a really cool effect. Okay, and now the next thing we're going to work with is with a stencil. So keeping within the same theme, which is almost like a honeycomb theme, I'm going to use this stencil here, put it down on my page, and I'm going to use some spray ink. Okay, and this is by Tattered Angels, Glimmer Mist. It's water-based, and this color is Olive Vine. Give it a little shake. And I love this. This has, you can't see, I don't think you could see it. Maybe you can. See this? It has gold on the bottom. You give that a shake, because when it sprays the olive color ink onto my page, it also has a shimmery gold, like shimmery gold flakes in there. And it just adds a little bit of shimmer to your page. I love it. Ooh, pretty. Okay, and I'm going to carry this right to the top. I'm going to protect my workspace and kind of put this over here so I don't get the overspray all over everything. Okay. And again, we want the pages to match. So I'm going to do it up. Whatever I did on that side, I'm going to kind of carry it on over here. I don't need this here now. Okay, so that's that. So now we've done scrapbook paper with the Mod Podge. We've done a brayer. We've done modeling paste. We've done the spray ink with stencil. And this is almost dry. Not quite there. I think I may have to stop the video and get that blow dryer because we're not making too much progress here as far as drying. Okay, and we need it dry. This is another spray ink, Glimmer Mist by Tattered Angels. This is chalkboard, and the color is Ruby Slipper. And again, it has some type of like sparkles in it. Really pretty. Again, I'm going to get my plastic to protect my workspace from the overspray, and I'm just going to spray a couple random sprays of this red. I like it. Okay. Okay. So now we're going to let this dry a little bit, and then we'll come back to it and we'll do some stamping, and then we'll think about adding a character to these pages with some nice inspirational sayings. Okay? Alright, well, I'll see you in a bit.